Yesterday we were discussing about this NP completeness and reducibility. All these things we discussed, and the main idea is that if a problem Q reduces to another problem Q dash, then Q is no harder to solve than Q dash. That is idea. Okay, that is our idea. If a problem Q reduces to another problem Q dash, then Q is no harder to solve than Q dash. And this is a formal definition for a polynomial time reduction. That is a language L1 as polynomial time reducible to a language L2. Then we should write it like this: L1 polynomial time reducible to L2. The P represents polynomial time. So L1 is polynomial time reducible to L2. Okay. If your X is a polynomial time computation function F, we are defining a function F, and that is actually mapping from 0 1 star to 0 1 star. Okay, 0 1 the whole star to 0 1 the whole star, such that for all x element of 0 1 the whole star, x element of L1, if and only if f of x is element of L2. So we are defining a polynomial time computable function. Okay, and we are taking each each instance of this problem or language, that is we have L1 and L2. So we can take a string from L1. Okay, that is, for example, that is x. Then you apply this function on this string, that is f of x. So you'll get a different string. Okay, and that string should be in L2. That is a condition. If you are able to find out such a polynomial time computable function, then you can say that L1 is polynomial time reducible to L2. Okay, so you, for each instance in L1, it should be mapped to some instance of L2. Okay, the function f is a reduction function. F is known as a reduction function, and a polynomial time algorithm, capital F, that computes f is called a reduction algorithm. Okay, so the f is a reduction function, and the algorithm which computes this s, that is known as a reduction algorithm. Again, these are some basic concepts. That is polynomial time reduction from a language L1 to another language L2. Each language is a subset of 0, 1, the whole star. Then the the reduction function provides f provides a polynomial time mapping such that if x is element of L1, then f of x is element of L2, and if x is element of L1, then f of x is element of L2. Okay, that is sorry, this one is not right. The reduction function f provides a polynomial time mapping, such that if x element of L1, then f of x is element of L2. Okay, if x is element of L1, then f of x is element of L2. And this is, moreover, if x is not element of, this is actually not element of L1, then f of x is not element of L2. Okay. ഇവിടെ ഇത് എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്നത് അത് ഇവിടേക്ക് കോപ്പി ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ വന്ന മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് ആണ്. This is not element of 1. This is also not element of. Okay. So our assumption is that if x is element of L1, then f of x is element of L2. Okay. And if x is not element of L1, okay, x is not element of L1, then f of x is also not element of L2. ഓക്കെ, അതായത് ഇതിനകത്തില്ലാത്തൊരു സ്ട്രിങ്ങിനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് ഇതിലേക്കുള്ള ഒരു സ്ട്രിങ് ആയിട്ട് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അതിനകത്തുള്ള സ്ട്രിങ് ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിലേക്ക് അടുത്ത L2 സ്ട്രിങ്ങിനെ നമുക്ക് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇല്ലാത്ത സ്ട്രിങ്ങിനെ ഇതിനകത്തുള്ള സ്ട്രിങ്ങിലോട്ട് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. Okay, so this the reduction function maps that's we told instance of x2, instance of this one L2. Polynomial term reduction gives us a powerful tool for proving that various languages belong to P. And we can see this. This is what it says: polynomial time reduction from a language L1 to another language L2 is given in this picture. Here, for example, it is L1. This is L2, and L1 contains some strings that is represented by this shape, and L2 contains some another set of strings. So for each string in L1, so this is L1, and for each string in L1, suppose we apply this function f, you will get another string that is a member of this language L2. Okay. So for each string in L1, you will get another string from this L2. Suppose you are taking a string not in L1, that is this string is not in L1, so that is mapped to a string which is not in L2. Okay. So if you take a string not in L1, then you will get, if you apply this reduction function on that string, you will get a string which is not in L2. Okay. Then one lemma. If L1 comma L2, a subset of this 0 1 the whole star, are languages such that L1 polynomial time reducible to L2, then L2 is element of P implies L1 is also element of P. Okay. So this P means the class of the class P, which means a set of languages which can be solved in polynomial time. Okay. So you can take 0 1 the whole star language, and you are taking you are saying that L1 is polynomial time reducible to L1. Sorry, L2. Then L2 is polynomial time. L2 is element of P implies L1, because if this reduction is possible, these two L1 and L2 will be of the same class. Okay, so let A2 be a polynomial time algorithm that decides L2. Okay, then L2 and let f be a polynomial time reduction algorithm that computes the reduction function f. Capital F is the algorithm that computes this function. Okay, we are talking about a polynomial time algorithm A2, which decides L2. Which decides L2 means which solves this L2. So we shall construct a polynomial time algorithm A1 that decides L1. Then consider this diagram. So here it actually discusses about the construction of A1. Okay, and for a given input, so we have this x is given to this algorithm, that is the reduction algorithm. Okay, that reduction algorithm will convert it into f of x, and that is given to A2. So A2 is actually that this algorithm will decide L2. Okay, so f of x should be an instance of this L2 or a string in L2. So x must be a string in L1. Okay, so we are feeding that to this reduction algorithm, and that gives you f of x, which is an input of this or a string from L2, and that is given to the solution. This A2 is actually algorithm to solve this L2. So that is given, and you can get, so anyway all these are decision problems. So you'll get either yes or no. So which means if f of x is element of L2, then it will give yes. Otherwise, it will give no. Okay. If that is the case, then A2 will output yes or no. And what happens to this A1? A1 will return yes if, which means x is element of L1, and it returns no if x is not element of L1. Okay. So this one is polynomial time solvable. So you have L1 and L2. Then if you have solution for L2, you can use that for L1 also. Okay, you can use the solution of L2 to solve L1. So for that, you need to map all instances of this L1 to instances of L2. And when you get answer for this L2, you can use that as output of the original or your problem L1. Okay, so x is input or a string from this L1 that is converted into f of x. Okay, then you are giving that to this A2. A2 actually will decide L2, and this will out yes or no. This will out yes if f of x is element of L2, and no when f of x is not element of L2. So that will be the answer to this question, because we know that if L1 is, if you take some string from this L1, that is not to a string in L2. Okay, if it is a string which is not in L1, then you will map that to a string not in L2. Okay. So for a given input x element of 0, 1 the whole star, the algorithm A1 uses f, that's what we said, to transform x into f of x, and then it uses A2 to test whether if f of x is element of L2. The output of A2 is the value provided as an output from A1. Okay, the same value can be used as output of this A1. So we are actually, we have a solution for this L2, and using that solution, we are actually constructing a solution for L1. And what we say that if L2 can be, L2 is polynomial time solvable, then we can, anyway we have a polynomial time reduction to L2. So this L1 will also be polynomial time solvable. Okay. Clear. Then next is actually a formal definition for this NP-complete problems. Okay, so NP completeness. We know what is NP, and actually we know what is NP complete, NPC. That is NP, a problem. L can be an NP complete problem if the two conditions should be satisfied. First condition is this L should be in NP, and second condition is any known problem in NP should be polynomial time reducible to this L. Then it is an or what we defined earlier was any problem in any non-problem in NP is as hard as L. Okay, uh, we can define that formally here. NP complete language, that is a language L that is taken from 0, 1 the whole star is NP complete if two conditions, L should be element of NP and L should be this P subscripted to M. Okay, L should be polynomial time reducible to L, This first one is L dash and okay, so L should be element of NP and the L should be polynomial time reducible to L for every, sorry, L dash should be polynomial time reducible to L for every L dash element of NP. So these conditions should be met. So one is L, we are talking about a language L, and this language is NP complete if L is element of NP, that is, it is element of polynomial time verifiable language, and L dash is polynomial time reducible to L for every L dash element of NP. So when you take every language from NP, somehow you'll be able to reduce that to this particular language L in polynomial time. Okay, and this kind of languages are known as NP complete languages. And if some languages satisfy only property 2, that is, for any language L dash, you should be able to reduce that to L in polynomial time, then L is known as NP hard. Okay, if only second condition is met, then it is that language L is known as NP hard. Okay, and if it is this L is in NP also, if these two conditions are satisfied, then it is NP complete. And the NPC means that is in NP complete. Okay, then there is a theorem. It says if any NP complete problem is polynomial time solvable, then P is equal to NP. Okay, so which means if yesterday anyway, there is a theorem. If any NP complete problem is polynomial time solvable, if any of this NP complete problem is a polynomial time solvable, then P will become or P is equal to NP. That is the case. Okay. If any of them is solvable, then it means that all of them are solvable. Okay. ഏതെങ്കിലും എൻ പി കംപ്ലീറ്റ് പ്രോബ്ലംസിന്റെ പെക്യുലിയാരിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് റിഡക്ഷൻസ് പോസിബിൾ ആണ്. ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലത്തിന് അടുത്ത പ്രോബ്ലത്തിന് ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് റെഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി പറ്റും. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഒന്നിന് സൊല്യൂഷൻ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചാൽ അടുത്തതിന് ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക്കലി സൊല്യൂഷൻ ആവും. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒന്നിന് പോളിനോമിയൽ ടൈം സൊല്യൂഷൻ ഉണ്ടെന്നാണെങ്കിൽ പി വിൽ ബിക്കം NP. Okay, P is equal to NP in the condition. Equivalently, if any problem in NP is not polynomial time solvable, then no NP complete problem is polynomial time solvable. Okay, which means if you are able to prove that at least one of them is in NP is not polynomial time solvable, then no NP complete problem is polynomial time solvable. Then proof, suppose that L is element of NP and also that L is element of NPC. For L is element of P and L is element of NPC. For any L element of NP, we have L. Okay, so this for any L dash. For any L dash element of this NP, we have L dash polynomial time reducible to L by property 2 of the definition of NP completeness. That is, L is element of P and also that L is element of NPC. And for any L dash element of NP, we have L dash polynomial time reducible to L. So we can say like that. Okay, if any L dash element of NP, then we can polynomially reduce that L dash to L. Then we also have that L is element of P, L dash element of P, which proves the first statement of the theorem. Okay, so suppose L is element of P and L element of NPC. Simultaneously, we are thinking, supposing that L is element of P and L element of NPC. So we are taking any L dash element of this NP. For any L dash element of NP, we have L dash. If L dash is element of NP, then what happens? We can reduce that to L in polynomial type. Okay, then we also have that L dash element of P. We say that L dash element of P. So which means L dash element of P. So what happens? L is also element of P. L is also element of P. And L dash element of P means this will come because L is element of P, and we are saying that this L dash is polynomial term reducible to L. So L is polynomial time solvable. So what happens? L dash will also be polynomial time solvable. Okay, and which means this implies L dash element of capital P, and that is about the first part of the statement. Okay, and it is actually a contrapositive. Second part is actually a contrapositive of the first statement. Okay. Then circuit satisfiability problem. That is the first problem we are trying to reduce. Actually, ഒരു ഇൻഫോർമൽ ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഇൻഫോർമൽ പ്രൂഫ് മാത്രമാണ് ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിൽ നിന്ന് അവൈലബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ളത് സർക്യൂട്ട് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിലിറ്റിക്ക്. ആക്ച്വലി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സർക്യൂട്ട് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിലിറ്റി ഇല്ലാതെ വെറുതെ സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിലിറ്റി പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തത് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിലിറ്റി പ്രോബ്ലം. That is given a Boolean expression checking whether it is satisfiable or not. Okay, given a Boolean expression 2CNF 3CNF അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല. For any Boolean expression, okay, if checking whether it is satisfiable or not. Okay, that is known as a satisfiability problem, and that is actually the first reduction that says satisfiability problem is actually NP complete, and the theorem is known as Cook's theorem. Cook's theorem that says satisfiability problem is NP complete. So ഞാൻ അന്ന് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു അത് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് തന്നെ ട്യൂറിംഗ് മെഷീൻ ഹോൾട്ടിംഗ് പ്രോബ്ലം എടുത്തിട്ടാണ്. ട്യൂറിംഗ് മെഷീൻ ഹോൾട്ടിംഗ് പ്രോബ്ലം is the first known problem in NP, and we are reducing this an instantaneous description of a Turing machine into a polynomial. Into a Boolean expression. Okay, so that is done in polynomial type. Okay, so you are taking this Turing machine and an instantaneous description. Okay, that is the state of the Turing machine at a particular moment. That is known as the ID of a Turing machine, instantaneous description, and that can be converted into a Boolean expression in polynomial time. And we can say that if that is possible, then anyway Turing machine halting problem is NP, so we can say that this one is also an NP, and that reduction is possible. So we can say that this satisfiability problem is NP complete. If both conditions are true, then you can say that the satisfiability problem is NP complete, and that is known as Cook's theorem. Okay, അങ്ങനെയാണ് യൂഷ്വലി NP completenessന്റെ പ്രൂഫ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിൽ സർക്യൂട്ട് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിലിറ്റി ആണ്. ഒരു സർക്യൂട്ട് നമുക്ക് ബൂളിയൻ സർക്യൂട്ടിന് എങ്ങനെയാണ് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈബിൾ ഓർ നോട്ട് എന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാനാണ്. ഓക്കെ, So നമ്മൾ ഇതുവരെ ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം NP complete എന്ന് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്തില്ല. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to prove at least one problem as a NP complete. Okay, and we use polynomial time reducibility as a tool to prove NP completeness for other problems. So what we are trying to do is that we are proving that circuit satisfiability problem is NP complete, and we are trying to uh, use this polynomial time reducibility to reduce this to other problems, any other problem. Okay, that is circuit satisfiability problem will be reduced to other problems, and like that we can prove NP completeness of any problem. Okay. Satisfiability problem actually അതിന്റെ പ്രൂഫ് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ കുറെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വേണം. So before that, Boolean combinational circuits are built from Boolean combinational elements. Boolean combinational circuits are built from Boolean combinational elements that are interconnected by wires. A Boolean combination element is any circuit element that has constant number of Boolean inputs and outputs and that perform a well-defined function. Okay, so that contains, it will have a constant number of Boolean inputs and outputs and that performs a well-defined function. Boolean values are drawn from the set 0, 1, where 0 represents possible, and the Boolean combinational elements that we use in the circuit satisfiability problem compute a simple Boolean function, and they are known as logic gates. Okay. So these elements in the Boolean combinational or Boolean expression or that circuit will compute. That our assumption is that it actually computes a single Boolean function, and they are known as logic gates. And these are three logic gates we are using: NOT, and OR. Not taking a single input x whose values are 0 or 1 and produces a binary output z whose values opposite to that of the input value. Okay, then each of the other takes two binary inputs and produces a single binary output z. The operation of each gate and of any Boolean combination element can be described by the truth table. Okay. So we can describe their operation using a truth table that actually gives the outputs of the combinational element for each possible setting of the inputs. For example, the truth table for OR gates tells us that when the inputs are x equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, the output value is z equal to 1. And we use negation to denote NOT and the symbol for AND function and then OR function are the same things. So this is the truth table, the gates and the truth table. Okay, so then everything we know about the circuit input. And Boolean combinational circuit means we are making use of combinations of this logic gates. Okay, so combinations of this OR and NOT and all these things circuit output. So a truth assignment for a Boolean combinational circuit is a set of Boolean input values. Okay, so a truth assignment. So we discussed what is a truth assignment for a Boolean expression. That is actually a set of zeros and values given to this variables in the expression. So a truth assignment for a Boolean combinational circuit is a set of Boolean input values. Okay. And we can say that this one anyway, our circuit is a one output circuit. So a one output Boolean combinational circuit is satisfiable if it has a satisfying assignment. Okay. So a one output Boolean combinational circuit is satisfiable if it has a satisfying assignment. So which means Satisfying assignment, as assignment means a truth assignment that causes the output of the circuit to be 1. Okay, satisfying assignment means when you apply this values for this boolean inputs, finally you will get a 1, which means a truth as an output. Okay, so we can construct different gates or different circuits using um, these 3 gates. Okay, and you can give, for example, you can give values for all the inputs x1, for example x1, x2, x3 are the inputs to the circuit. Then you can assign 0, 1 to 0 or 1 to all of these inputs. Then you will evaluate this circuit and you will check whether it is equal to, the output is equal to 1 or 0. If it is equal to 1, then it means that it is satisfied. Okay, otherwise it is not satisfiable. And the theorem says that circuit satisfiability problem is before saying that, so we can define the circuit satisfiability problem. That is, given a Boolean combinational circuit that is composed of a AND or and NOT gates, is it satisfiable? Okay, again this problem is converted into a decision problem, that is circuit satisfiability problem. So given a Boolean combinational circuit composed of AND, OR and NOT gates, is it satisfiable? Okay, ഒരു Boolean combinational circuit എന്നാൽ അത് satisfiable ആണോ? Is it satisfiable? So answer to this will be what is it? Yes or no. That's why it is a decision problem. Okay, so we can define it as a language circuit sat that is equal to the set of elements C such that C is a satisfiable Boolean combinational circuit. Okay, so all the satisfiable Boolean combinational circuits, all the set is known as, all the set of such circuits is known as the circuit set language. Okay.